All right, good morning, everyone. I'm just waiting here until shopping orders are starting to be listed so I can go do grocery shopping for customers. And so I thought while I'm waiting for all of those to start appearing, I would go ahead and do another week's worth of devotions. So we are on December 18th. For 3 things the earth is disquieted, and for 4 which it cannot bear. For a servant when he reigneth, and a fool when he is filled with meat. For an odious woman when she is married, and a handmaid that is heir to her mistress. Chapter 30, verses 21 through 23. And this is from the book of Proverbs. Because this is wisdom from the Bible, daily thoughts from the Proverbs. It was hard to watch. The woman had never worked a day in her life. She had messed around all through college, not learning much of anything. She had wandered around the country and had never contributed much anywhere she went. She finally came home to where her father lived, and he supported her. Now he was dead and she was rich, and she lorded it over everyone. She acted like this was the life she was entitled to. For people who had to slave for everything they got, it just didn't sit right. It looks at times like evil will triumph over good, and that injustice is the rule rather than justice. We live our lives the best way we know how, and it is a struggle. Others do nothing good, live lives of selfishness and sin, and they seem to have it all. The problem is that we see with short sight. It appears that they prosper for a good long time, and in the course of a lifetime, that is true. But when we think of in terms of eternity, the evil only prosper for a short while, and we have the assurance of a life everlasting which will be full of blessings. All our trials will end, and we will find reward beyond our wildest imaginations. Help me not to be jealous of the prosperity of the evil. Let me remember that their success is short-lived in the course of time. They will flower, then fade away, while I will blossom eternally with the power and glory of your love. December 19th. There be 4 things which are little upon the earth, but they are exceeding wise. The ants are a people not strong, yet they prepare their meat in the summer. The cunies are but a feeble folk, yet make they their houses in the rocks. The locusts have no king, yet go they forth all of them by bands. The spider taketh hold with her hands, and is in kings' palaces. Chapter 30, verses 24 through 28. The palace was kept immaculate. The servants worked night and day to keep it clean. And even with all their efforts, still a small spider wove a fine web in the corner of the king's chambers. Each day the servants would come in and sweep it away, and within just a few hours it was rebuilt anew. The lowest of creatures dwelt all of her days with royalty, surrounded by the finest fare. And on occasion she would travel into the king's bedclothes, and while he slept she would make a meal of the royal flesh, and in the morning she would be satisfied, but her bites would cause the king much anguish. So small a creature has power to influence the lives of people she comes in contact with. How amazing she is. Yet we too, in our seeming insignificance, have great power to affect the lives of the people we meet. We can influence by good or by evil, but we can do it with a slight amount of effort. God wants us to strive always to help others in every way we can. The smallest of insects and bugs can do what seems impossible. We should at least try to do as much. I do not want to be stopped by limitations I put on myself. Help me to realize that with you all things are possible. Your power exceeds any of my doubts. Make me aware of your presence with me, that I might do all things. December 20th. There be 3 things which go well, yea, 4 are comely in going: a lion, which is strongest among beasts, and turneth not away for any; a greyhound, a he-goat also, and a king, against whom there is no rising up. Chapter 30, verses 29 through 31. She felt safe when she was with her father. She remembered the time that the wolves came around. He had taken his gun out and had shot them all. Everyone else in the town had been afraid, but not her father. He stood up for everything that was right and good, and if there was something which had to be done, he did it. That was just the kind of person he was. Whenever she came home, the same old feelings of safety and comfort were there. As long as her father was there, everything would be just fine. It is good to know that we are loved and sheltered and cared for. It is comforting to know that in this harsh and hard world, someone will stand up and not let anything happen to us. That is what faith in God is all about. When we come to know God, we realize that we are never out of His sight, and that He will watch over us and protect us and care for us all the days of our lives. This assurance turns our days from burdens into joys. He has given us the gift of life, and it is a blessed gift which He rewards time after time. His love knows no bounds, as evidenced by His greatest gift of all, the Christ, the babe in Bethlehem. My God, you are with me in all of the dark hours and hard times. I do not know what I would do without you. You give me so much, and when I am afraid, you comfort and support me. Thank you for being with me, Lord. December 21st. If thou hast done foolishly in lifting up thyself, or if thou hast thought evil, lay thine hand upon thy mouth. Surely the churning of milk bringeth forth butter, and the wringing of the nose bringeth forth blood. So the forcing of wrath bringeth forth strife. Chapter 30, verses 32 and 33. For every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. When we do something wrong, we can expect that we will have to suffer for it. Every day the little boy had stopped to throw stones at the birds which roosted along the fence. He had never been much of a shot, and they always flew away before he could come close. One day he hefted a rather large stone and let it fly at the unsuspecting birds. The rock flew straight and hit a bird, knocking it from the fence. In shock and horror, the little boy raced up to the fence and picked up the lifeless bird. He began crying, telling the bird he hadn't meant to hurt it. He felt sick inside and helpless as he looked at his own handiwork. Why is it that people tempt fate, and then they are so shocked when something goes wrong? If we play with fire, we will eventually get burned. If you strike someone hard enough on the nose, it will bleed. If you churn milk long enough, it will turn to butter. If you dwell in wrong and sinful acts, then you will have to encounter the wrath of God. It is not speculation, it is reality, and the wise understand this and do everything they can to avert the disaster which must result. O Lord, help me to keep from living so foolishly. I act as if I am immortal, without doing the things which are required of me. I have much to learn, and only you can teach me. Please do so, Lord, I pray. December 22nd. It is not for kings, O Lemuel, it is not for kings to drink wine, nor for princes strong drink, lest they drink and forget the law, and pervert the judgment of any of the afflicted. Chapter 31, verses 4 and 5. The promotion was what he had dreamed of. He had worked all his life to get where he was, and he intended to celebrate. But the celebration had gone on too long. He found that the drinks which had originally been intended as a self-congratulation turned into a way of dealing with pressure. As the stress built, so did his dependence on alcohol. He began drinking at the job. His performance slipped and his work grew sloppy. Eventually he was fired. All his hard work had been for nothing, thrown away by a dependence on a crippling crutch. In our weaknesses we do foolish things. We try to find our own ways to make it through life, and we turn from the only good way there is, Jesus Christ. Christ was sent to earth to conquer death and to give people a source of strength and courage by which they could live. The gift of Christ is more powerful than anything the world can throw at us. All we need is the wisdom to see its power and take hold of it for our lives. God will bless our lives, and He will help us through every hard time. His love for us has been proven time and time again, and there is nothing on earth that will ever turn Him from us. I walk dangerous paths, Father, and I am not wise enough to avoid all the pitfalls. Guide my steps with your divine light, that I might not stumble, but walk surely, bringing glory and honor to you. December 23rd. Open my mouth for the dumb in the cause of all such are as appointed to destruction. Open thy mouth, judge righteously, and plead the cause of the poor and needy. I watched the young woman at the counter. She seemed lost, confused, and agitated. After a couple of minutes, I realized that she was retarded. I walked over to where she was and asked her if I could help her. She said she wanted to buy a present for her mother, but didn't know what things cost, nor how much money she had. I helped her count her change, and then we picked out a scarf. It was much more than the girl had, so I called the clerk over. I asked him if he would sell the girl the scarf for what she had, and after she was gone, I would make up the difference. He agreed, and the girl went off happily, clutching her gift. There are so many people in the world we can help if we will only do it. Christmas is a time for giving and sharing, but it shouldn't be for only a few days a year. The gift that Christ gave us lasts every day, and so should our kindness and love. We have an obligation to try to love others as much as Christ loves us. That is a full-time job, but a more fulfilling duty cannot be found. When we see others in need, our hearts should go out to them, and we should do everything in our power to assist them. Lord, I want to do your will each and every day, not just at Christmas time. I have thousands of opportunities to give aid throughout the year. Guide me to do what is most helpful and good. And then our last reading is December 24th. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. Chapter 31, verses 10 through 12. The trip was so long and hard. The burro kept staggering from side to side, and Mary felt as if she were going to burst. She and Joseph knew that the baby was coming soon, and they were trying desperately to find a place to rest. She never said a word of complaint. She knew that her child was to be blessed, and she trusted in God that He would protect and shelter them. She did not know why she had been selected of all women to bring God's Son into the world, but she was filled with pride and excitement. Joseph looked upon her, and he felt glad. He was proud of Mary, and he felt doubly blessed by the Lord. He was entrusted to bring up the Son of the Most High God and to care for his own lovely wife. The pair moved on to Bethlehem joyfully and at peace, for they knew that God was with them. God is with us each day. When we live our lives according to His will, then we become a blessing to those around us. Wives become blessings to husbands, and husbands to wives, children to parents, and sisters to brothers. A life well lived is a gift, not only to God and ourselves, but to everyone we meet. Make my life virtuous and good. Help me to bless the lives of my family and friends. Shine your love through my life, that I may be a beacon of your light. Help me to glorify you in all things. All right, so we're going to leave it there, and I think we've probably got maybe 2 or 3 more videos to finish out this series, and then we will be done. So I will go ahead and catch you guys next time. Take care, everyone. God bless.